Good morning. I'm Will Kempton, the Chief Executive Officer of the Orange County Transportation Authority. I want to welcome you to today's event and appreciate the great turnout. We're going to need the help of the media in getting the word out about some of the activities that are going to be taking place over the next few weeks, and it's very helpful that you help us deliver that message. Standing behind me today are, of course, the Sheriff of Orange County, Sheriff Hutchins, who will be speaking to you shortly. We have a member of the Orange County Transportation Authority Board of Directors and the Mayor of the City of Orange, Carolyn Kvetchy. Ms. Kvetchy also chairs our security working group at OCTA, so it's very appropriate that she would be here today. And also we're pleased to welcome John Fenton, the Chief Executive Officer of the Southern California Regional Rail Authority, we all know as Metrolink. Also standing behind me are members of the newly formed Counter Terrorism Team, and I'd like to just recognize Sergeant Tim Rainwater, Sergeant Jim Faust, Deputy Ron Byers, Deputy Chet Parker, Deputy Juan Viramontes, Deputy Chuck Ibeck, Deputy Tim Pustai, and of course our canine companion Foos, who is here today as well. As you'll hear more from Sheriff Hutchins, this team will be a highly visible presence at transit centers, train stations, and on buses and trains throughout Orange County over the next weeks and months. It's important to point out that our transit system is safe, and we are working extremely hard to keep it that way. Creating this team is not in response to any specific threats. That's very important. We want to make sure that we're not creating any concerns on the part of our riders and the public. But the counterterrorism team has been created to help ensure that we maintain the level of safety our passengers have come to expect. It's unfortunate that transit systems are targets for terrorist attacks. The study released by the Mineta Transportation Institute found that since the tragedy of September 11, 2001, there have been more than 1,800 attacks on public transportation around the world that have killed 3,900 people. During that same period, there were 75 attacks on airlines that killed 157 people. So you can see the exposure that we have in this regard and why it's important that we focus on our public transportation systems here in this country. What this means is that our work must not stop. When it comes to protecting our passengers and securing our public transit system, we need to make sure that our passengers feel safe, that we're providing a reasonable level of protection for them. I want to really express our appreciation to the Orange County Sheriff's Department and Sheriff Hutchins in particular, because they have been great partners in this effort. They work with us on our transit security activities, and it is now my pleasure to introduce the Sheriff of Orange County, Sheriff Sanders Hutchins.
And I want to thank you all for coming to see how we're working to protect those who ride our public transportation system. The Transit Police Services Counterterrorism Team, as you can see, will be highly visible and easily recognized for public transportation passengers to find when needed and to act as a deterrent to those who would harm the passengers that we strive to protect. This team brings more to our Homeland Security mission than a new uniform. Each member of the team has been trained as a terrorism liaison officer. These terrorism liaison officers have the means and the training to stay up to the minute on the latest terrorism threats and intelligence. They know how to shift their routine at a moment's notice to take protective action against a terrorist threat. They will employ proactive enforcement actions in a random and unpredictable pattern. These actions will be taken on by the Mass Transit Bureau personnel and other units of the Orange County Sheriff's Department to enhance the overall security of the Orange County Transportation Authority, its services, and its related facilities. Some of what you can expect to see on our public transportation systems include random visual searches of public areas, high visibility foot patrol on the platforms at train stations and transportation centers, random boarding of both buses and trains, foot patrol of railroad right-of-ways, foot patrol and searches of OCTA facilities, positive identification checks for OCTA facilities, and operations in conjunction with covert team activities. I want to invite Deputy Tim Pustai and his canine partner Foos up here. Come up here. These are our most popular members of the Transit Police Services. He is. And will be an active part of the Counter Terrorism Team, searching our trains and buses for explosives. The Counter Terrorism Team will also be deployed during special events of national significance and elevated threat levels. We will continue our vigilance to our Orange County residents and visitors to keep them safe and secure when utilizing public transit. But when it comes to fighting terrorism, we must all work together. Many surface transportation attacks have been prevented by alert employees, but by alert passengers as well. So we are enlisting the public support in the See Something, Say Something campaign. Thank you very much. It is now my honor to introduce the CEO of Metrolink, John Fenton.
CEO of Metrolink, and Metrolink is committed to the highest level of safety and security on our system. This is something that requires close coordination with our member agencies as well as federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies. We also depend on our passengers and employees to recognize and report any unusual or suspicious behavior. The sheriff already said it, but I think it's worth repeating. If you see something, say something. Be aware of your surroundings when you're on board a bus or a train or waiting at a station, and please report any suspicious activity. I would like to commend OCTA for being proactive in garnering these funds to be able to deploy additional security measures. The Federal Transit Security Grants Program and OCTA, working with the Sheriff's Department, was able to successfully secure the funds to enhance safety throughout the county. We look forward to seeing the Counter Terrorism Team in action and performing the excellent work that they do to keep us all safe. And I'd like to introduce now Mayor Kvetchy.
Every one of us will remember where we were 10 years ago on September 11th, when our nation's peace was shattered. The atrocious terrorist act on our nation stole the lives of nearly 3,000 people and forever altered our country. September 11th changed the way in which we felt about our national security and the safety of ourselves, our loved ones, and our fellow citizens. For elected officials, from the federal level to the local, that day forced us to refocus and reprioritize our efforts to protect this country and to prevent other attacks from occurring. As the mayor of Orange and a board member on the Orange County Transportation Authority and Metrolink, we have devoted a significant amount of time and resources to ensure that what happened a decade ago never happens again. In the last 5 years alone, OCTA has received more than $26 million in transit security grant funds. This money has been utilized on a number of fronts, including added security cameras on our buses and at our train stations, additional patrols, personnel, training and exercises, communications, emergency planning and assessment, and physical upgrades at our transit bases and facilities. The men standing behind us, the Counterterrorism Team, are just one weapon in the arsenal the Sheriff's Department and OCTA are utilizing to secure the safety and security of our transit passengers. Just last month, the United States Department of Homeland Security awarded OCTA almost $500,000 through the Transit Security Grant Program to support additional transit security patrols, provide anti-terrorism attempts, and prevention and response teams. Now that funding is independent of the Counterterrorism Team and will continue our efforts to protect the residents of Orange County. In the days ahead, I know that all of us are going to stop and reflect on those who lost their lives on September 11th. Our heart goes out to the other victims of that day, the children growing up without a mother or father, the husbands and wives who lost each other, and the parents who will never again see their children. Our promise is that although this anniversary will come and go, our resolve to protect our citizens from anyone who wishes to do harm will never waver. Thank you so much for being here for this very important event. If you could now please join the members of our counterterrorism team for a demonstration at the bus directly behind you. Thank you very much.